Greetings and hails, my friends. Daniel Dekay here, back with Overkill Reviews, BangerTV's weekly heavy metal review show. If you dig me and want to see more of what I do, check out my Twitch stream. I'm playing guitar and talking music over there live 4 times a week. As well, please smash the subscribe button right here on YouTube. And if you're looking for another awesome way to support Banger, check out our Patreon campaign. You get access to behind-the-scenes and extended content, exclusive merchandise, and the ability to pick the albums which we cover here on Overkill Reviews. Like this week's review, a ridiculously chaotic, grotesque, and frankly uncomfortable listen picked by our Patreon community. I tried to warn you, it's Ad Nauseam's latest release, Imperative Imperceptible Impulse, released February 12th on Avantgarde Music. Formed in 2011, this is the second release from this Italian, techie, avant-garde, chaotically atmospheric death metal, but also sometimes dissonant-sounding black metal band. It's the kind of 4-piece band that if you told me was either a duo or an 80-piece symphony orchestra, I'd probably believe you on both claims. The 4 members started creating music together back in 2003 as a much more straight-up death metal project called Death Heaven, but as the project shifted gears, they changed the name to Ad Nauseam. Their first release as Ad Nauseam back in 2015 got really positive reviews, and there were a lot of people that were very hyped for this sophomore release. I was not one of those people. This is way outside of the scope of music that I normally tend to listen to and analyze, so I'll do my best, but let's see how this goes. Let's talk about the things I liked on this record. Right off the bat, let's address the first thing you see, the artwork. Artist Vama Marga did an excellent job with this piece of art. This cavernous, multiple layers of waterfalls, this jagged and sharp rocks everywhere, turbulent waves, water going off into nothingness, maybe the Loch Ness Monster even poking out there in the middle. I don't necessarily think that the art really reflects the sound of the album, but as a standalone piece of artwork, it is badass and I would totally hang it on my wall. Let's talk sounds, not art though. I like that the production manages to sound very intricate and well thought out, but also super relaxed at the same time. Take the headphone listening experience, for example. The use of panning and layering of different guitar and bass parts. It literally makes you feel like you're standing in the middle of the 4 musicians in a circle as they play at you from all directions. It's a very cool and intentional sounding production technique. But at the very same time, you can also listen to this record and get wicked small live room vibes and visualize the musicians with their concentrated stares, standing this far away from each other and playing off each other in a very raw setting. I find it very neat how one body of music can simultaneously conjure such conflicting perceptions of the sounds and how they were created. Very cool. Let's talk standout instrumentations. Drums! Man, the drums on this record are insane. That is a perfect blast beat sound, my friend, for the snare. Holy moly. That is the perfect amount of compressed pop so that even in the fastest of passages, each shot is clean and separated from each other. If that's a lot to digest, just listen to this next section and watch how the snare sound builds from slow to fast and how that tone works at all speeds. By the way, that 10-second passage right there, yeah, that goes on for a minute. Seriously, mega props to the drummer, the drum performance, and the sounds and tones are seriously impressive start to finish. Insane double kicks, really clean, specifically ride cymbal work. The fills, I can't even visualize how you're pulling those off without an extra arm. Literally, there's fills on the record that even after 5 lessons, I can't assign a count to them. Impressive. Mega props on an awesome vocal performance as well. Really diverse use of vocal styles, thick and chonky sounding mids and lows to really scratchy upper mids and screams. I dug it a lot. Performance, start to finish. You can get a taste of the wide spectrum of vocal skills being flexed on this record in this next passage. That's about all the praise I've got for the record. Let's move on to some of the stuff that I didn't like. I gotta start with the rhythms. They're chaotic, and I find it very hard, almost impossible to get into a groove with this record. I'm not saying that everything's gotta be 4/4 and stacked power chords and third harmonies all the time. But when it literally sounds like all 4 musicians are playing 4 separate songs, fighting to be louder than their other 4 bandmates, it's really difficult to latch onto a song, bob your head, or even tap your toes. No. Seriously, what the hell is even going on here? From the top of the record, it's a totally relentless assault on your ears and your mind. So I understand some more chill passages to contrast and, maybe give some breathing room. But is 4 minutes of this really necessary on an already 57-minute record? This isn't even close to the only example of ambient and drawn out lulls or clean passages on this record, but I'll spare you more lackluster clips. I know I've already complimented heavily certain elements of the mix, but oddly, if I can go back on things I don't like about the mix, the vocals seem kind of quiet, which is really weird because when you start to really analyze the record, the guitars seem really quiet too. So what are we even left with? I understand it's a very drum and rhythm-driven mix for this band and it suits it in a way, but I feel that when you have music that's this abrasive, that those growls and screams should be way louder and more in your face to increase that intensity for the listener. Amplify it up. Let's go. Make me feel something. Or at least try and compete with the volume of the drums as a starting point. I'll let you be the judge. And fine, while I'm complaining about little production things, I'll also add that I don't love that twangy and clicky bass sound you get at certain parts of the records. This one. One sec, let me check my turntable. I think the record's skipping. Nope, never mind. All right, let's take all those words and thoughts and complaints and talk about production and try and smash it into a verdict. Listen, I'm definitely stepping way outside of my comfort zone on this review, and I know it shows. There's a lot of people that toss around the Gorguts and Imperial Triumphant comparisons when talking about Ad Nauseam, but I gotta say, this just doesn't grab me the same way. I really did try my best, but in the end, I just can't shake this feeling that this record was a bit of a miss for me. An interesting, reflective note is that it's hard to tell whether this album was methodically and carefully written out, note for note, or full of complete improv. It's cool, but also confusing and definitely uncomfortable at times. This album is 6 songs in total, but I'd never know that if I didn't look that up. It's an album with very little distinct separation or breaks between the music. In fact, there's none at all. It's more like movements within a larger body of music as opposed to individual songs. Not a bad thing, just more reflective end of review type stuff that I like to say. I wish I could give this record more points for just being straight up interesting, but honestly, I found it really difficult to deeply focus on this record for the entire duration of it, especially on multiple listens. So maybe experimental avant-garde music isn't always for me, and that's fine, but there's no denying the killer musical chops here. If you need someone to sit in with your fusion band, or you need a musician who can keep up with insane rhythms, dissonant riffing, and complex structures, these are your people. For that reason alone, I'm giving this album a musician's empathetic 2.5 skulls out of 5 here on Overkill Reviews. Make sure you hit that comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of the review. Do you love this album? Do you think this album sounds best in a microwave? We want to know. But first, check out these shoutouts. Enforced Kill Grid, released on Century Media, March 12th. Richmond, Virginia, Crossover Kings. It's a killer and more realized sounding follow-up to 2019's At the Walls. Fast riffs, hardcore screams, excellent shreddy solos for fans of Iron Age, Power Trip, High Command, and Slider! Also, make sure you check Danko Jones' I Want Out, the new video single, released March 12th on Sonic Unyon Records. This is Canada's hardest rocking hard rocker, a dear friend of Banger, and an all-around badass. I am very much looking forward to this power trio's forthcoming new album, appropriately titled Power Trio. That's all from me until next time. Take care, my friends. We'll see you soon.